Right, here's another interesting chart. Sorry, I'm not into making charts about sort of trade calls, apart from these great big weekly candles when they're there, and then you decide whether you want to trade the reversal or whether you're watching for it to continue long, which obviously they all can. But this chart here, based on the weekly candle, again another massive candle there, reversed all the way down. We would have traded that, or could have traded that, if you'd looked last week at the weekend, expecting a potential reversal, and the thing reversed 267 pips, or give or take a few pips. So, you know, studying the weekly charts is a worthwhile venture. Today you could say, well, we've got a massive big candle here as well, which we have, of course. There's been a bounce. The buyers have come back into the market due to some sort of support or resistance tested. This was the reversal, what I call the significant candle high here. Low, high, low, lower, high, lower, low. So that's the reversal, high, low, low, high, higher, low, until we get a close and break. Well, it gapped up that week there. We often get gaps at weekends, so always be aware of that. Let's have a look. I didn't intend to get into the technicals of these reversals, but it would need to break that 69172 high, and the close was 6914. So this didn't actually technically break the level. In other words, it wasn't a valid reversal. But then what happened, we opened up, we gapped up, so that was considered a reversal. Then we get the deep pullback, or a pullback, which on a weekly chart obviously is very deep. And then you know, this reversal here, the red candles open, gap up, was the trigger to tell us possible longs were on. Then just follow the lower time frames until you can get the correct entry, and as you can see, it moved up as a result of that confirmation to the long side, reversal to the long side. It moved up roughly 280 pips, give or take. So that's what we trade, guys. You get a reversal. Here's one here: low, high, higher, low, higher, high, high, low, lower, high, lower, low. It's broken that level there. Look what it came back to test. You know, that wasn't the reason for making this video, but it's just crazy how price does that, and as such you should be able to, just around that little phenomena there, be able to try see where that's going back to. A whole week of toing and froing, or whatever, that's the weekly candle. So at some stage it went up to test that broken support there, and then continued down. No surprises, we got this gap and this sort of flip zone here. When you look to the left hand side, you could put a level on there. That's all you have to do. A few lines on the charts, guys, and it will explain what happens. And you only have to do it a few times with hindsight, you know, in view, as it were, to understand in future where price may well go. And that's what we're doing here, guys. Past price action will repeat itself and repeat itself and repeat itself. It does for decades. So back to this one, massive momentum to the long side, broke the 20 level by the looks of it. Yeah, it did. 2021, arbitrary level, but it seems to work well. Then we've crashed again, and where are we now? Well, we've really been repelled by all these resistance levels here, bar one by the looks of it. Talking about all this lot here, or bar one or two, should I say. That's the only one that's been broken below. All of these have been pushed the price back to that level. Interesting level. So on the daily chart, well, we've reversed down with this candle here, broke through all the support over here, and then the price crashed again. Okay, that's the ultimate high. What we want to look for is the penultimate low, the low before that, which was potentially that one there. It was, yes. that got closed through, little pullback there, continuation to the downside. So where are we now? Well, on H4 we've reversed to the long side, we've had the pullback, and we've got these levels of support above us, and as I always say, and we've got a lovely long red move to the downside. This is the actual swing that this swing is moving up against. So just looking at this chart as it is, we've done a reversal against that candle there, low, high, low, inside bar, lower high, lower low. We've trended back up. In fact, we didn't close through this high before this pullback, but what's interesting to see is it looks like the support failed to hold as resistance, and that in my book now is starting to come into this analysis far more and more. It's old support failing to hold as new resistance, which is often creating this pullback, and it's sort of a confirmation as well to the long side, and then price has continued up. So that's where these are sort of slight changes to my thought processes as a result of doing so much more analysis, making videos and stuff for you guys. But what would be the cream on the top of the cake, as it were, would be the RSI in this instance. Drop down a time frame and you can see the trend in place: low, high, higher, low, higher, high. We call this swing 3 the break of that support. It's come back and tested this level here by the looks of it. Again, easy in hindsight, but if we were looking at drawing my levels on this with no view of what's going on there, you can see once you've drawn the levels, and if you get in a habit of doing all of them, that is definitely a massive level there. It is an H1 high, and when this is pulled back, we knew it would have to confirm to the downside, which it did with this, by the looks of, by this red candle here. And then we've continued on down. If we were intending to trade this short, we would have to get through this candle's resistance, and that's what I mean about drawing all the levels and finding all the gaps. Remember, I trade 5-minute time frames, so if I'm looking on a 15-minute or 5-minute at that move, that is let's have a look. Sorry, I should have put a vertical on that H1. That H1 candle there was the close below the low of that one. So this is the gap I'm looking to trade. 5-minute chart. That's the H1 high. There's the gap I was talking about, and as you can see, that was a beautiful trend: high, low, lower high, lower low. There's swing 4, the pullback. There's the continuation, and this is where, in this instance, the RSI histo broke and closed. And you know, I didn't know, I haven't got a clue what was going on there. I haven't done this analysis. You're watching me do it live, as it were, on this chart. And lo and behold, my entry would have been this candle based on the candlestick analysis, and there we go. That is the bust down, that's the pullback, that is the break and close below the swing 4 accumulation distribution. It's not a coincidence that these trends look identical all the time, going back years and years and years and years. It's because price action repeats itself time and time again for decades and decades, guys. Okay, once you understand that and you build the confidence and you're prepared to use the patience and discipline required, this is the opposite thing in the opposite direction: low, high, higher, low, higher, high. I haven't drawn the levels on here, but you know, there's your pullback. This could be counted as swing 4. and then once you get the RSI doing its stuff, and a confirmation up here as well, confirmation candle again. It's not a coincidence, guys. There's your bust up, here's your pullback, there's your confirmation candle above these highs here, breakout of any sort of resistance, and there's your break and close, and lo and behold, a little bit of playing around. I haven't studied this. I mean, the confirmation candle is this one here actually, but you haven't got a break and close. There's the high, low, lower high, lower low. That is the engulfing outside bar, call it what you like, reversal. Then we've had a little bit of jiggery pokery that you'd need to drop down on the 1 minute to play with, but the RSI is there for your belt and braces. So getting back to this whole chart here, H1, sorry for the distraction there, H1 has reversed to the long side. We've got we were talking about this reversal down. Now we've got a new reversal up, pullback, continuation. So this definitely looks like potential long. Look, there's no way you can trade against that short based on the H1 chart, because there's so much momentum to the long side. Okay, momentum's dropping off. We can draw, I don't often do this, but I used to do this when I was studying the RSI. We can draw descending trend line on it. There's a divergence situation going on here, higher highs and lower highs, so that would suggest a drop to the downside in my opinion. But I don't mean to confuse things. At the end of the day, the higher time frames always lead the way. We've gone from below to above zero with an H4, so you have to take all the time frames into consideration. There's your descending trend line on this chart, and you can tighten it up on the lower time frame charts. H1 would be there, a high that breaks a low to make a new lower low, and vice versa. A new lower high breaks the lower low, that makes that valid, and so on. Price is moving on up. This isn't anything to do with trade calls. This is just how I analyze my charts, guys. So H4 is long. If we were to trade this short, H4 has to reverse down. I like the look of this for the tests of these here, so we shall see what happens during the night while I'm asleep. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening. That's it for me now. I'm going to watch some telly.